Could you spend $1 trillion? Now, $1 trillion is a booty load of money. I'm not gonna lie. That's a booty load of money right there. Ooh, you hear that? Hold on.
Just got $1 trillion.
Let me hear that again. Oh, that noise is it's like satisfying. That's the whoever made that sound, like whoever made the actual sound for the cha-ching, has to like it has to be some psychological thing to it that makes me that just connects it with money, because bro, that sound is like it screams money. Like hear it again. Kaboom.
You just got $1 trillion. Not a million.
Not a million.
Not a billion.
That's a lot of money, bro.
A trillion. But there's a catch. You need to spend all of it in the next 24 hours, or
Dang,
you
in a
lose
day?
everything.
Hold on. There could be a method. Look, some people are gonna do stupid stuff like start buying cars and houses. No, that's not what you do. I'm buying companies. I'm buying out Apple. I'm buying out Amazon. Okay? Let me get Nvidia too. Like, bro, we can't slack off.
It should be easy. First, you need a new car. Go to your local exotic dealership and buy yourself a Lambo. And
Why?
a Ferrari. And a McLaren. You know what?
I mean, I'm
Just
not gonna lie.
buy
That
the
would be cool
entire
for the
dealership.
Instagram flips.
Now, you have the $12 million garage of your dreams. But there's one small problem. In order to spend $1 trillion in 24 hours, you would need to buy out that entire dealership every single second. You need to think bigger. Let's hire 100 people to track down the 100 most expensive yachts and buy them for us. And let's throw in $1 million bonus for each mercenary. That'll be around a $40 billion check, but let's also buy the biggest cruise ship of all time for $2 billion and fill it up to maximum capacity, paying for everyone's tickets and tossing in a Rolex too. Let's make use of this ship's basketball court by buying up every single NBA team and having them battle it out. Then let's get Snoop Dogg, Katy Perry, Justin Bieber, and Beyonce to perform for us before sending them off to the International Space Station on a SpaceX rocket that costs $55 million per passenger.
How much would that be?
With rich people, you need a status symbol. You could buy the world's most expensive art piece for $500 million.
Bro, that's what I'm saying. Like, now if I got $1 trillion, I would spend a couple good hours figuring out how to buy these freaking companies. Like, I would go to the White House. I'll be like, "Hello, Donald Trump. I don't like you, but can you please give me Mark Zuckerberg's information so I could buy the whole entirety of his company? Please, thank you. Or at least a share. Something like that."
Why would you do that when you could just buy the entire Metropolitan Museum of Art for $100?
Actually, nah. It says spend. Because if it was $1 trillion, I'll just give it to someone. But that's not spending it.
Transaction failed. There's no way we're already out of money. Yeah, we still have $800 billion. The Metropolitan Museum is an educational institution whose assets are held for the public benefit and are not owned by you. You know what? Forget about the Met. The entirety of New York City is worth around $1.3 trillion. There are currently 33,210 vacant units available, so let's hire 33,000 people to snatch those up for us. And of course, throw in a $100K commission. But here's something you need to think about. The most expensive real estate purchase in US history was this $240 million concrete brick. That might sound like a lot of money, but you spending $240 million is like an average person spending $60. I think instead of buying houses, you should build a mega project. The sky is truly your limit.
Yeah, but it's in a day,
You can build your project wherever you want. If there's people in the way, buy them out with your pocket change. Or maybe try the Saudi Arabia method and relocate them into a graveyard. Actually, I think the Middle East is exactly where we need to go. So let's buy one Gulfstream G650 for each day of the year and fly across the world.
Chat, we flying the whole city. Yo,
Welcome
imagine we fly the whole city. Now, I don't even think they would have that much
space
for that.
People will build literally anything. The world's biggest picture frame, the world's largest clock, the massivest cube, the tallest structure ever.
Yeah.
Man-made sinking islands.
Yo, I did see that. Yo, there's islands for like most of the states of the U.S. What are they planning on doing? They got a bunch of European countries, a bunch of U.S. states. Like, what are we? Did they just get tired of naming stuff?
From memory. These are cool. Let's build an even bigger artificial island for $20 billion. Of course, we can't forget about labor cost, so for that, let's budget in 10, Then let's buy every single one of those mega projects I just showed you for a total donation of $101,292,000,000 and $10 to our Middle Eastern boys. But while you're here, take a look at the Burj Khalifa, the current tallest building in the world.
Man, that joint is huge. That joint is huge, bro. Let's really talk about it. How are we gonna spend $1 trillion in a day? Like, if you can't buy these big companies and you actually gotta start buying stuff and have an actual plan on how you're doing it, like $1 billion is easy, right? $1 million is light work, right? Maybe even $100 billion could be a challenge, but $1 trillion, like, you really gotta have the intelligence to be able to just buy a crazy amount of things.
The tower would be worth $7.58 million. You still need to spend 87,000 times that. A stack so high.
Yo, you know what? At this point, why don't I just buy a country with $1 trillion? Like find a good, decent sized country, and just buy the whole thing out. Name it after yourself. You know, don't go crazy, but like $1 trillion could do the job. I could buy a country with that.
The International Space Station. If you ever want to spend this money, you need to stop thinking in real estate and start thinking in 51st state.
What?
Do you see where I'm going with this? Buy a country. In 2010, the country of Liechtenstein put itself on Airbnb at 70 grand a night. This is literally nothing. You can't be looking at countries hoeing themselves out for pennies. You need the ultimate prize. Somewhere cooler.
Okay.
Somewhere strategic. Let's buy Greenland. Based on the market price of its mineral reserves, the world's biggest island has a price tag of around $200 billion. We can afford that, but there's one small thing in our way. During Trump's first term, when he proposed the conquest of Greenland, the country dismissed the idea as completely ridiculous and firmly stated that Greenland is not for sale.
What even is in Greenland, bro? Like, is there anything interesting there in Greenland? Like, I know it's mad cold there. Mind you, yo, up here in New York, we're hitting negative degrees already. I could only imagine.
Let's buy an F-35 for $80 million. Fuck it. 2 F-35s.
Nah, let me get a bunch of them.
10, 100, 2 aircraft carriers, 3 destroyer ships, 1 ballistic missile submarine, 57,000 Blackwater soldiers, 1 for every citizen of Greenland. Now we have a $50 billion makeshift military, and it looks like Greenland's for sale after all.
Jeez.
But by this point in your trillionaire spending spree, people are starting to take notice. Your exploits might not have hit TikTok yet, but rumblings are beginning behind closed governmental doors. Luckily for you, there's not much politicians can say once you own them. Buy a politician. We got Trump here for $1.5 billion. Kamala is almost $2 billion, but you do get a free Joe Biden. Let's buy a.
Are we hitting the 1600 route and just start buying people like they used to do? That could be an idea. Now I don't even know how you would go about it. Just start buying people, but yeah, I don't know. If I'm trying to spend $1 trillion in a day, like, and like, also this is the other thing, like. It's not like you got a week or a month to spend $1 trillion. It's all in 24 hours. Like, you gotta do something crazy in 24 hours. Like, you gotta fly to a country, obviously, like, you're gonna live lavish at least while you got this $1 trillion. You gotta eat good anyways, but you gotta go to the country. You gotta go to wherever the main leader is of that country. Propose your idea, be like, yo, I'm buying your country right now. I got $1 trillion. Take it or leave it, bro. This joint could be yours right now.
Both of those and every sitting member of the Senate and House for a grand total of $7.2 billion for the entirety of American politics. This is a great deal, but there's a catch. Money influences politics, but it doesn't always decide it. I mean, look at the presidential race. Democrats outspent Republicans and still lost because $2 billion can't buy aura. More recently, Elon dropped millions of dollars campaigning for an election in Wisconsin, only to find out that shit no longer works when everyone hates you. Even BlackRock doesn't always get what they want. $1 trillion gives you access to almost everything, but culture and public perception are things that are not for sale. Just kidding. Let's buy every single media company. The Washington Post, Time
Now we're
Magazine, the New York
talking.
Times, Comcast, Fox. Global ad spend for an entire year is
Now we're
around 1
talking.
trillion.
Start
That
buying
averages to
companies
3
now.
bill a day. So let's run 1 week straight of propaganda and we should be good. But if you're still getting heat, there's one final method you can use. A donation a day keeps the guillotine away. It's time
What?
for philanthropy. There are a lot of causes to choose from, but you should start off with the people most in need. The US government.
Ooh.
America is currently $36 trillion broker than a homeless person. That number is
Jeez.
increasing by $2 trillion a year.
Are we really
Luckily,
that
we now
in
have
debt?
you. 220 billion honestly isn't gonna do much, but it's definitely gonna help. Assuming of course that the US government efficiently manages a $250 billion cash injection. You might be wondering how you're gonna send the money. And the answer is pay.gov, an official website where you can make donations to the US government to reduce the public debt. So let's
Have
just
an
enter in
actual
your
website?
220 billion right here and well, turns out the maximum amount the Treasury accepts is only $1 million.
Oh.
You just bought the government a bag of screws from Lockheed Martin. Maybe your money
Yeah.
will put a bigger dent into medical debt. See, unlike the government, broke people dying of cancer aren't allowed to print more money to pay off their crippling obligations. Instead, their unpaid debts get sold off to collections for pennies on the dollar. But because of this discount, charities like Undo Medical Debt can erase $100 worth of debt for every $1 donation they receive. And with that ratio, you could wipe out all the medical debt in the US for just $2.2 billion. But what about world hunger? The UN
Yeah,
estimated
we
it
gotta
would take
fix
40
that, I'm not
billion
gonna
each
lie.
year to end world hunger by 2030. We could afford that. Next, how about we help out malnourished and starving
Yeah, at least
college
we
students?
gotta use this
Student
money for
loan
good,
debt
at
in
least.
the US totals 1.777 trillion, with the government loaning out 87.2 billion a year. But before we try to attack this, there's a slight problem. Once universities catch wind that trillionaire Jesus is bailing out their victims, they'll probably just jack up their prices. On top of
Yeah.
that, paying off loans might be seen as unfair to older generations who had to pay their way through college and pick themselves up by their bootstraps.
It don't matter.
Turns out philanthropy isn't as easy as it seems.
It's not easy. Building Amazon was not easy. Philanthropy is very similar. It's really hard.
I agree with Jeff here. Let's just buy another $500 million yacht.
Yep.
That's enough philanthropy for today.
And how much
You
we
still
got?
have 60
58.
billion left.
60 billion.
And I think
bro.
I know how to spend it. It might be semi-cheating, but hear me out. 37% of Americans can't afford an unexpected purchase over $400. Being a trillionaire, your passive income earns you $400 every 0.126 seconds. The median net worth under 35 is $39,000. As a trillionaire, you could exchange your toilet paper with rolls of $39,000 bills for your entire lifetime and it wouldn't put a dent in your finances. $1 trillion gives you horizons incomprehensible to the normal paycheck-to-paycheck living human. Even after your spending spree, you still have so much money left that it gives
Yeah.
you too many options.
I don't
You
even
could
think
launch
it's-
space
I don't even
programs,
think it's
clean up
possible
the
to do
ocean,
in a day.
fund institutions. 24 hours just isn't enough time for this much fun. So let's buy more time. Make yourself a trust and safely store your money in it. Now,
Yeah.
all of those humanity-shifting endeavors, you can sleep on them. On the
Yep.
world's most expensive bed.
Or just buy entirely of Apple and make these phones better. Look, better phones, better people, better company. I'm buying Apple right now. Where do I buy it? But yo, that is could you spend $1 trillion in a day? I think the best I could do is 10 billion. I'm gonna keep it a buck. Maybe 100 billion if I'm feeling crazy, but $1 trillion is insane. I would start buying companies, countries, whatever I could do, bro.